Okay, so we've got this can of water being heated to boiling point, and then the teacher grabs it, inverts it, and chucks it in some cooler water, and it collapses. Right, describe what happens to the water particles inside the can when the water is heated. 2 marks. Okay, classic exam question. Right, so what happens to water particles when they get heated? Well, they gain kinetic energy. Okay? Therefore, they move faster. Okay? And they become further apart. Now, it's a 2-mark question. These are just the classic things you've got to say to answer this question, okay? Particle theory. You gain kinetic energy, they move faster and they become further apart. But you can also say that some gains enough kinetic energy to leave the surface and become a gas, because it is, the question asks what happens to water particles inside the container. So I guess technically these water particles, even though they're a gas, they're inside the container. So it's just a lesson in trying to say as much as you possibly can in order to guarantee you get all the marks. So you can also say that some have enough kinetic energy to leave the surface and become a gas. Okay, next question. Describe how the arrangement of particles in the water differs from the arrangement of particles in the steam. 2 marks. Okay, so draw a diagram. Okay, again, it's this classic little diagram that you get taught all the time for water and steam. So for the water particles, draw them randomly, okay? Don't do them in nice neat rows, that's a solid, right? This is a liquid and that's a gas. Okay, so draw them randomly but touching. Okay, that's the trick, like so. And leave a few gaps in between. Okay, so something like that. All right? And for steam, just do 3 or 4, okay? Like that, not touching. Right, now to describe them. So, the water particles are touching and close together. So touching close together, well, I guess, yeah, don't write close together. If they're touching, they've got to be close, right? So they're touching, but they can move past each other. Okay. For the steam, they're far apart, or not touching, if you like. Far apart, not touching. Okay. Right, again, looking at the mark scheme, okay? Even that might not get you your 2 marks. It's not quite clear, but they also want you to say that the water sort of falls to the bottom of the container and only occupies the bottom part of the container, but the steam occupies the whole container. Again, you never quite know how picky the examiners are going to be and what exactly they're looking for. So it's yet another lesson in trying to think up anything and everything that could be relevant and could get you that final mark. So we're going to finish off by saying, yeah, the water is only at the bottom of the container. But the steam fills the whole container. Okay, so if that comes up in your exam, remember that. Good. Right, last question. Use ideas about particles and pressure to explain why the can collapses. 3 marks. Okay. So, let's try and do this in order. Right, the can is rapidly cooled. So therefore, the kinetic energy of the particles decreases. Okay? So, kinetic energy decreases, therefore the particles move slower. Okay? Therefore, well, actually first, let's say that there's the same number of particles in the can here when it's being boiled as when it's in the cool water. So because the teacher grabs it and moves it quickly, it doesn't give it a chance for any extra air to enter. Okay, so it's the same number of particles as when it was being boiled. Okay, so therefore, because the particles are moving slower and there's the same number, therefore there's a lower pressure on the inside of the can. Okay, and this is lower than atmospheric pressure. So therefore the can collapses. Okay, 3 marks. I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay, good. Right, so I think the lesson from this question is examiners can be picky and you don't know exactly what they're looking for. So it's difficult. I know it's really difficult to get full marks, but you've got to try and think of everything that they could be looking for. Like these 2 questions. You know, it's not easy to get that some of the water particles have enough kinetic energy to leave the surface and become a gas, because you're taught these 3 things, right? That's sort of drilled into your brain. Get these down on paper, but that's not obvious. So that's the sort of thing you have to think up on the spot in the exam. And the same here. The fact that water fills the bottom of the container and steam fills the whole container. I think it's really difficult to get 3 marks, full marks for this question. But you've got to try. So when you're in your exam, try and think about that little extra thing that they could be looking for. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please click the like button, and it would be a massive help if you could subscribe. It would also be amazing if you could support me on Patreon. All the papers and everything are on my website, drjem.com, and I'm also on social media. Thank you.